Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. I tell you what, things move pretty quick for Newcastle this summer transfer window. We've seen it with a few other players. 1 minute we're interested, the next we've made an offer. And that's what is being reported by Sky Sports this morning, that Newcastle have made an offer for the Chelsea left-back, Lewis Hall. The 18-year-old with, I think, a big future ahead of him, and hopefully that future will be at Newcastle United. The offer itself sounds pretty interesting, to be honest, as to how Newcastle want to do this deal and what Chelsea want from this deal. So we'll get onto that a little bit later in the video. First off, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to do so. I know loads of you guys are watching my videos every day at the moment, but still haven't hit that button. Getting closer and closer to 50,000 subscribers. And it's going to be a big season for Newcastle as well. So be sure to come along and enjoy the Rubenstein journey as we head to Champions League. And who knows, maybe we could have Lewis Hall in tow for some of those Champions League games. As I've said, a big talent, just 18 years old, turns 19 very soon. And I've spoken about already yesterday and the day before about Newcastle's interest in bringing in a left-back this upcoming season. Obviously, Dan Burn has played a big part last season, but has still been constantly questioned as to whether we could not necessarily improve that position, but bring a different dynamic to that position. I think what Dan Burn offers is height, strength, defence. He does love to bomb forward, but I think having that rotation with a player who maybe is a little bit more attacking, a little bit more savvy on the ball, a little bit more technical, and I think Lewis Hall is that player. It's interesting because we had been linked with Tierney and a few other players that I think Tierney especially to pick up and just drop into Dan Burn's position. I think the fact that we're going for Lewis Hall says to me that Eddie Howe wasn't necessarily trying to replace Dan Burn. I think he's looking to bring in someone to play behind Dan Burn or with Dan Burn rotationally. You look at what we've done on the right hand side with Trippier. Trippier's great on the ball. Ball in, pass it out and move. Livramento is a different kind of right back. Livramento is not scared to pick up the ball and run with the ball. I would say it's similar over on the left hand side. I think Lewis Hall is a player who is very good with the ball at his feet, can play left back, can play left wing back, can play left mid, can play left wing. He can probably even play in centre midfield, to be honest, because he is that technical on the ball. The fact that he's 18, turning 19 soon, shows great ambition to be paying a decent chunk of money for a player who is still quite young, has still had, I think, 12 competitive appearances. So you could comment down below and tell me, Rob, I think some of the numbers being talked about are pretty big for someone of that age. But I think what it's doing is showing thoughts for the future. Livramento, 20 years old, I think one of the most talented, or certainly one of the biggest right-back prospects in the country right now. I think Lewis Hall, a year or two's time, could be throwing his name in the ring for, one of the biggest upcoming left-backs in the country as well. To be able to play Dan Burn in the games where we know we will be defensive, maybe where we won't be looking to attack as much. Lewis Hall in the games, get up that wing, get the ball in. Newcastle are becoming a team that keeps a lot of the ball, which is crazy because I would not have said that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, But in those games where we have a lot of the ball, does it make sense for Dan Burn to be stood on the halfway line? No. If Dan Burn, in fairness to Dan Burn, he doesn't stand on the halfway line. he bombs up the wing. But if we are in a game where we've got 80% of possession, 90% of possession, well, that's quite a high number. 70% of possession. We've got a lot of the ball. You may as well stick youngster Lewis Hall on, 18 years old, get that experience, get him in. Well, you can tell me, do you think we should be replacing Dan Burn? Do you think even at the age of 18, Lewis Hall should be taking Dan Burn's position? I think it's unlikely that we will just play him straight. Who knows with Eddie Howe, to be honest? It's anybody's guess, but I think having that rotation between the two players, he knows what Dan Burn's like, and what Dan Burn was is part of the best defence in the Premier League last season. So as much as you can say, oh, Dan Burn doesn't do this or he doesn't do that, what he does do is keep the ball out the net. But I think what we could do with is, as we build this team, as we have Tonali who keeps the ball well and controls possession, as we have Bruno who keeps the ball well and controls possession, as we boost those possession stats, what we can also do is look to bring in players who are more attacking. We can afford to go, you know what, Bernie, Botman and Shaw have pretty much got it covered at the back, maybe with Trippier on the cover. Let's have Lewis Hall. And that's not to say Lewis Hall can't defend, by the way. He's also a great defender. But I'm just thinking for those games where we maybe don't need as much of a Dan Burn, we can have a Lewis Hall come in. And as I say, it is interesting when it comes to payment and what Newcastle are offering for this guy. So the rumoured fee is 35 million, which again, or the rumoured offer, I should say, as per Sky Sports this morning, is 35 million. Chelsea have reportedly come out and said they are open to offers for the player. A lot of what originally was coming out was that Newcastle were looking for loan deals. We will link the loan deals for Tierney, Cucurella, Lewis Hall. Newcastle trying not to overspend on FFP. I know Chelsea have somehow managed to do whatever they want, but when it's Newcastle, it's FFP. Chelsea reportedly was not interested in loaning Lewis Hall. I can possibly see why, to be honest. I don't think they would want to help a rival. If they are going to let him go, they want some cold hard cash for him, with the reason that they have spent so much money. They have so many players on the books. Lewis Hall isn't expected to get a first team game, and if they can pick up 35 million for him, I think they'll be more inclined to let him go. Lewis Hall recently signed, I think Sky Sports are reporting, a 6 million contract in principle. 6 million? 6 year contract, which again helps Chelsea kind of go, well, he's got 6 years left, so you've got to really give us a chunk of money to let him go. Newcastle, I think, are prepared to pay the 35 million next year. Newcastle, at this moment in time, after having a pretty good summer, it's understood, don't have the liquid cash to go, yeah, there's 30 million up front, just as you wanted it, Chelsea. Instead, what Newcastle are trying to do, and we're doing the same with Tierney, is trying to get a year's loan with an obligation to buy. So Chelsea will get that 35 million next year. When Newcastle have had Champions League, I've had more money coming in from corporate sponsors. I've had more money coming in from all the new hospitality that we're sorting out. I've potentially had money coming in from the new fan zone that we've got. Basically, to pay that money right now is tough for us. As a plane goes over my head again. But it's understood that Newcastle are willing to push forward with this deal. And it sounds like Chelsea are willing to listen. Now, to add to all of that, Lewis Hall's dad's Geordie. Lewis Hall is a Newcastle fan, so is his brother, and when he was offered to Crystal Palace, Lewis Hall reportedly was against that and in favour of a move to Newcastle as well. It's actually being reported that Lewis Hall was also in favour of the permanent move rather than being loaned out. I suppose for a young lad to know his future makes sense, and to be doing it with a Champions League side and, you know, his supported club, I could see why maybe he... And that's the thing, it's not to say that he doesn't... I'm sure, you know, he would like to have a chance at Chelsea as well, but at a young age, when a team's coming in for you, offering good money to come and get a real chance in the side, whereas Chelsea right now are buying so many players, you must be wondering like who you are or who you're with every 5 minutes, so you can understand why he would be interested in the move to do it permanently rather than a loan to secure his future as well. And obviously because we're class and we're going to have a great season as well. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Lewis Hall down below. The fact that he is reportedly asking for the move. Sky Sports are reporting that the offer has gone in. Will Chelsea accept it? Will they allow this young talent to go? Will they agree the terms that Newcastle are offering to loan with an obligation to buy? Or are they going to keep pushing for that money up front? Let me know your thoughts on Lewis Hall down below. And if we get the left back in, is that us done this window? Or are you hoping to see a centre-back come in very soon as well? Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you later.